Welcome back. I welcome you to the ITSM track. This is a very interesting track, and we are going to cover a whole lot of different things in this track. We are going to have some demos. We are going to know about the product updates. We are going to see the ROI. So there's a bunch of different things that we are doing in this track. But we are starting this track with modern ticket management. What is modern ticket management? And to talk about that, I have with me my colleagues, Udaya Reddy, who's a co-founder of Rezolve.ai and also the CTO. Welcome, Udaya. And along with Udaya, I have my colleague, Diana Ramirez. Diana is Director of Customer Success. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you, Manish.
So,
Thank you, Manish.
So then let me get started with you. When we started building this product a while back, even at that point of time, there were around 400 different ITSM products in the market. So when there are already 400 different ITSM products in the market, why add one more? What is the need for it? What are we doing different? Broadly, tell us our vision and philosophy.
Yeah, so good point, Manish. Yeah, so there are quite a few products out there in the market. So why one more? And why should somebody look at this, right? So see, in the recent 10 years or so, 10 decade or so, right, we have a lot of innovation in terms of technology, in terms of whether it's cloud or SaaS or it is AI, and now it is GenAI in general in the last 3-4 years, right? So there are a lot of disruptions that have taken place, which is affecting every industry, and we are bringing that innovation to the ITSM world, right? So we are incorporating all this latest technologies and then redoing the ITSM stuff, primarily to make it employee centric, right? So all these ITSM products are mostly agent centric, agent efficiency driven. We are completely doing it for putting employee first, right? Employee experiences are the primary reason for this. So that's the reason why we have this new product from Resolve, right? So ITSM, and we are looking at to actually give better experiences to employees and also have great efficiency improvements for agents also.
Okay.
That's the reason why we are doing this.
Okay. So employee experience, better employee experience, better efficiencies, and I know that we are doing this all with AI and all the modern technologies. We are leveraging everything latest that has come, things that people didn't have access to earlier, or things that people couldn't add to their architecture earlier. So this is a brand new way of solving a problem that existed for a while, and the solution to which, a good ideal solution to which, has eluded many of the products that exist today. So Diana, let me ask you this question. Let's talk any ITSM system in the world, right? Knowledge management is key and central, because what you're trying to do is to avoid, tickets coming in. But we also know that knowledge management in most systems doesn't work, right? So, so talk to us how does a modern knowledge management system works in the world of generative AI and whatnot.
Sure, Manish. Knowledge management really is a fundamental area for everyone, really. Having a robust knowledge management enables them for auto resolution for employee issues and requests. Most people are often looking for information. It gives them the accurate guidance for even for agents to resolve tickets efficiently, and it gives easy access to the existing knowledge sources. Oftentimes the knowledge is there and available, but people can't find what they're looking for. So this solution makes it easy for them to find the little bit of information they need. Also having targeted content delivered based on the user's location or role is important to have targeted knowledge so that they can filter through to what they really want to see. And also quick identification and resolution of knowledge gaps. The knowledge gaps is a great asset, I think, as you don't typically know when employees aren't finding information. So this gives you direct feedback from users when they find stuff helpful, when they didn't find what they're looking for, and it gives you the opportunity to optimize your knowledge even further. So this ensures employees and agents have the tools they need for seamless resolutions. So it's a great area that we provide employees and agents.
And that makes sense. And to be honest, my view is that the traditional knowledge managements were a little bit of difficult situation to maintain. For example, just imagine a service desk. First of all service desks were supposed to maintain knowledge which is generic in nature. You have knowledge which is related to, I don't know, Microsoft or laptops or Dell or something like that, which are generic in nature, right? Each and every organization in the world needs to perhaps maintain it. But still, you are supposed to curate your own knowledge about this, which doesn't make any sense, right? Like these kind of generic knowledge should be available, just available, right? Why should I have to curate this knowledge again and again? And the second thing was, knowledge was not used very often, right? People were more comfortable making phone calls, writing emails. So the whole stop of knowledge before you create a ticket was really not there. And because people are not stopping, and there was no great way to provide them with knowledge related solutions, therefore more tickets were getting created, but also the incentive for keeping the knowledge updaters was low, right? If you're the whatever effort you're putting in creating the knowledge, if that knowledge is not being consumed, then why would you maintain the knowledge? What is your incentive for doing it? And therefore technicians were not really very interested in maintaining the knowledge, because nobody uses it, right? Why should I do it? Why do the extra work? So it was a vicious cycle, I believe, of knowledge that was going on in all traditional products. So unless until you have a new way of looking at knowledge management, I don't believe you can, uh, you know, really, claim that knowledge management is a great part of your solution if you are addressing it from last point. So I really feel a difference between the new way of doing knowledge management and the last way. Jen, is there any demo that we can see for this knowledge management, new knowledge management?
So here you see our console. Knowledge management has a place where you can manage your knowledge directly. You can easily upload documents and just browse from your computer and select the documents that you want to include as a knowledge source for your bot and for your employees. And it's as easy as just clicking upload, and the bot can answer questions from this information in just a minute or so. We also have a SharePoint integration. With the SharePoint integration, you're able to select the websites that you want to connect to. This is a heavily used feature from our clients just because SharePoint is such a site that employees are used to going to, but this allows them to find what they want easily from those SharePoint knowledge areas. We also have external websites that we can connect to, so you can decide which sites you want your bot to have access to and your employees to have access to, so it doesn't have it for everyone. And of course, you have the ability to add knowledge articles directly where you can write the content that you want people to see. We also have an AI feature there as well where it'll help you write the articles to easily get information out to your employees. And this is just a quick look at the bot side where you can ask a question targeted to a resource, and they can ask what the dress code policy is for a New York employee and get that specific information. So you can easily add content on the back end on the console, and just within minutes, it's available for your employees to ask in the bot. This is a great tool also for new initiatives. You're rolling out something new in your organization. You can just add the information in the Rezolve product, and your employees will have it at their fingertips right after.
So there in the organizations, so many things change. You have set up a new ITSM, let's say, but things don't remain static, do they? You keep adding new business processes. You're adding new software. You're adding new hardware. Maybe business has some new needs. So maintainability is something which becomes important, right? How do you maintain it? Can you make these changes quickly? How configurable the product is? Talk to us about the how what are the key characteristics of ITSM system needs to be to make it easy on the people who are using the product.
Yeah, good point, Manish. Right. So let me show an interesting thing. Right. So in fact, this feedback came from some customers also that we are using the ITSM tool. So there are some very basic ITSM tools who are very point oriented. So they have point solutions which solve a specific particular use case out there, right? So which are basic ITSM tools, and they are good at that, right? So they actually do only that thing. So whereas there are a lot of large organizations, they actually need to spend a lot of time configuring, customizing, and then making the whole stuff work for their business processes. Things like ServiceNow and BMC Helix, all these products out there, which are actually scale up to the business needs. But for doing that, we need to spend a lot of services, time, projects, and effort to actually do that. So this is another spectrum, another end of the spectrum. Results actually sits in the sweet spot here, right? So the way we have built the entire system because we did it from the scratch. So we actually know what were the reasons, what are the use cases that people can use for. So we actually made it very configurable. We built a framework where we can actually extend this. So here we can scale as well as be it actually very simple to use, not having too much of time and not even have projects running on top of it, right? So that's how we have built it. So if I deep dive, right, what are the strong principles that we have used for getting this particular design of the product? So we made it first employee centric, right? So everywhere we thought what is needed for the employee, let's use this as a demand. From the demand side, we know what we need to do, and then build the solutions around it. And then we have configured. We make any business process that needs the that meets employee demand or that requires what needs to be served to the employee, make it configurable as much as possible, right? We don't need to write a lot of code or a lot of formula, a lot of stuff. We need to make it very configurable. So that's actually the one thing. And of course, there's a lot of security involved, there's a lot of usability involved, and so on. So this is part of all the principles that actually guided us to rebuild the solution. In fact, the proof is in the pudding, right? So we, in fact, built the 4 pillars of our own ITSM solution, right? Request management, change management, incident management, and the problem management. All these actually are configured in our framework, right? So this way, even if somebody wants to change the change management solutions, they want to do it, all they need to do is go and build their own configurations on top of the ITSM stack that we have, and it's actually completely tailored to the needs of the organization. Okay, so what's the process of setting up for a new business, right? So it could be as simple as just defining a form, setting up a workflow, and then defining some metrics and SLAs, or it could be as complex as creating a lot of events and automations, and then talking to multiple systems and so on. So it depends on actually the business need. So this is where I would actually step into the product and then show something. So Diana, can you help us show some of the product features on this, please?
Sure, I can do that. One thing I like about the configuration and the ease of it is, for my team, a lot of clients are asking for specific things, specific situations to meet their needs. And this really allows us to easily deliver those requests. So I've been really happy with all the configuration that we have possible. All right, so I'll show you a few of the details. So here we have our service catalog. We have different requests, ticket types that we can use that you can set up with the fields that you want. You can set it up with the business rules that you need. You're also able to customize the layouts. You're able to drag and drop the fields where you want them. You're able to group them as you want. So you're able to see it just as you need your agents to easily get their servicing of the tickets done. Besides, being able to configure the fields and the layouts, you're also able to do your own SLAs. Our most typical are first response time and resolution time, but you're really able to do SLAs or metrics on anything that's important to you guys. And based on you're also able to see the view, like if you're on track or not, and then actually have it visually showing to people. Another great aspect of the ticketing is that you can set up your status workflow to be whatever you need it. So we have some great out-of-box workflows that you can use, but you can also customize them. You can relabel them. You can create rules that are either like actor-based, based on an agent, who's allowed to do it. So there's a lot of flexibility in the workflow and what you can create with this tool. We also have the ability to, sometimes you have a ticket type, but you have a need to request for additional fields for certain requests. And that's what we call offers. And that just gives you even more flexibility to have your ticket set up exactly as you need. We also have notifications that you can set up for your tickets for the specific events that you need. We have HTML templates available where you can make it look the way you want it to look. You can easily enable or disable these. And that way you're getting exactly what you need and what you want. And all these features that I'm showing you right now are able to be done by yourself. We help you do the setup, but you have the ability to make edits and updates as you need to. It's also very configurable based on actors, so the rules and permissions. And what you see here is our inbox view where you have where you can create a ticket here if an agent needs to. And you're actually able to visually update the left side, see which data you want to see for your team and what's the most important data to highlight. And you're able to assign it and create it right then and there. So this is showing you a little bit of the console side. The bot end user experience will show you a little bit more. This was focused to see the configuration and the ease of being able to set it up the way you want it. But all of this translates to a great employee experience on the bot side where they can actually request things and easily create a ticket for your agent to pick up. And this is an example of ticket notifications. We also have the ability, besides email, to get it in Teams directly. So that's just kind of delivering communications to where your team is at. So it depends, whatever's important for your team. You can set the notifications in that way.
Thanks, Jana. That was fascinating. And Udaya, this question is for you. Typically in traditional ITSM, automations were limited, isn't it? Like there was not a whole lot you could do in terms of automation. When people meant workflows, they meant how the ticket will flow, nothing more than that, typically speaking. Can you talk a little bit about those kind of innovations that are coming in, both from automation and AI perspective in our product?
Definitely, Manish. Right. So in fact, I mentioned in the beginning, right? So what made us? What's the motivation behind redoing ITSM the way it is? So one of the disruptors is AI. So there's a separate session for AI for employee experience. How we actually use AI in employee experience. In fact, that's where our employees actually derive most of the benefits. But definitely on the back end, which is basically all the support desk team, so they also need to actually get the benefit out of the AI, right? So how we have done so far is that we have used AI for doing the major incident detection. So when something really big incident is happening, so we should be able to detect it and then actually create a problem out of it or create something out of it. And then we should also have insights to our agents. So in terms of what we call it as Aura Insights. So Aura Insights provide us ability to actually see before a ticket gets escalated that, okay, hey, there's a potential escalation happening, or there is something which is actually pending for a long time and so on. It actually just gives input to the agent at the right time so that the agent will be able to do efficiently the work management. Right. So user feedback scoring. So we use sentiment analysis to do other stuff in terms of grading how the user is feeling about his particular issue or his particular request being addressed. Right. So intelligent categorization. So this is one of the important aspects. Why? Because the bot knows what the user is talking about, and then using that information, whether can I actually route it to the right team? Can I actually pre-fill some of the fields which typically an agent does in the backend, so that it actually goes to the right team in the backend. So all the stuff is actually done by intelligent categorization, and then the bot is able to derive that from the conversation that is having with the user. Triaging, sometimes we actually need to derive some of the information based on the inputs provided so far, so that actually you can actually escalate it to give the right priority, right tagging and all the stuff that's all done, and then sometimes it can actually be able to ask further questions and then be able to answer something. So I think there is we can cover this in the demo. There's GenAI in ITSM session where we cover all the stuff in the demo. And then there's an escalation that's happening, right? So in the backend, before it gets too late, we actually escalate it internally within the agent team so that this needs attention and so on. So this is examples of how we have used AI in the ITSM world. And then typically, this is one aspect of it, right? So let me cover the second aspect of it, automations, right? So the automations, it's a age-old stuff. It's not something which got underway in the recent past, right? It is traditionally it is all the integrations, right? All these are integrations as a service. There are a lot of middlewares built in the earlier world. This is something that has been there existing for multiple years now. And we have brought this automations onto the ITSM world because ITSM typically has to go and fix the issue gets reported here or the request gets reported here, but actually the request and the incident is getting served in some other system, right? So by either a user or it actually automated. So this is where we bring automations. We make our Resolve ITSM system talk to multiple other systems in the backend, right? So normally it's triggered through user interactions, or it could be triggered through time-based triggers and so on. And these automations are seamless. So it's basically we are bringing this integrations also as a service as part of this overall stuff, right? So using that, we have done automations for asset management, or even user access management, user onboarding, offboarding, and so on, HR systems in terms of user having the right the request address and so on. So these are all tasks executed. So we are not, the reason why we are doing automations is we need to increase our resolution rate, right? So our mean time to resolution is much higher when we actually make the bot do all the stuff, right? So all these tasks are automatically executed. And this is where our value add also comes in.
Thanks, Sudhir. This is very helpful.
Thanks, Yubi. I think one of the great value adds that you mentioned towards the end was about how we can connect to all the different systems. I think that that's part of the employee experience that we're trying to make easier, right? So that they're able to connect and get the information without having to know, where do I go for this, or where do I go for that, or how do I take care of this? They're just able to connect to it. So it also is a long-term solution where it doesn't matter if you change things around internally, you're still able to connect to the systems that you need to for your employees, and they still have a consistent location to visit and get what they need done.
So there, can we have a look at something something visual to understand this better?
Yeah, definitely, Manish. Yeah, let's deep dive into the product a little bit. So let me show this. So here we see that action, right? So the action is the ticket created event. So ticket gets created. So here we are calling it a ticket automation action, right? So we are calling it ticket where we are passing the payload of the current ticket that's being created. And you're passing to whom? We are passing to automation receiver on the other side. So this is a payload being passed, and the payload is being received by this flow. And this flow is created in the Created Studio, which actually transforms the payload that the ticket is giving and then passes it on to the target system. So here the target system in the demo that I'm using is a Microsoft Planner. So whenever the gist here is that when I create a change management ticket in the ticketing side, it actually is passed to this particular flow, and this flow actually translates this and creates a ticket in the Microsoft Planner. So this is how it will look in Microsoft Planner, right? So let me go back to the flow here. So in the flow here, if you see, there are some bunch of actions that are being executed. These bunch of actions actually does receive the payload from ticket, transforms it, and then sends it to it. So let me go and create this ticket now in change management. Some sample subject. So I fill out the rest of the mandatory fields, create it now. So now the ticket is created. So the event would have been executed now. Event would have received and then action would have been executed. So let me go and check in the planner. So 153 got created now, right? So this is the ticket that is there. So whatever I created has been sent here. And also I've in my flow, actually, I received the task ID and then the task details, and that should be updated in my ticket also, right? So yeah, task ID and the plan ID. So this update my tickets. So this is an example of one small integration that we have done, right? So to show it, so it's not that difficult. It's on every action that we have On every event that we have actually configured in the ticketing side, we can actually invoke as many actions that we want. And these actions also not necessarily can be pre-built actions, or these actions can be configured, and there could be a small ETL kind of a thing where you can extract the information from the ticket, transform it, and then map it to the schema of the target system, and then it's done, right? So as simple as that.
That's fascinating, Uday. You know, applications are no good when they're sitting alone in the corner. They got to talk to other applications. They got to get things done. This is what all of us have been trying to achieve, especially if this can be done in an easy manner, right? Not being without making too difficult. That's a dream for most IDSM leaders. So this sounds fascinating. I know there's another session later on where we are going to go into how this automations are created. So we'll deep dive into that. But this gave us a very good idea about what automations are we talking about and how easy they can be. So thank you for that. So this, before we wrap up this session, all this is fascinating. This is great. What new is coming, right? When we talk about modern ticketing and modern IDSM, what more are you guys working on next year that is going to come out soon?
So yeah, there's a plan that we are having, Manish, right? So we are going to extend our own framework that we have. So now we have this framework. So planning to actually extend the framework to support config management, right? So that's one thing. And then we are also looking at possibly towards mid or end of next year, asset management also can be included. That's what we are looking at. And our integrations module, we just started off, and that will also become more robust, more secure in terms of there are a lot of complex features required for security. We are planning to add those things on the ITSM side.
Yeah, that's great. We're also enhancing our Gen AI features for agents, and this is, to make their supporting their tickets a little bit easier and more efficient for themselves. So having more Gen AI features in the console for their work, and also exploring survey functionality to gather real-time feedback. And it'll have its own support module to support the survey features. So I'm excited about that and what it has in store for everyone.
Well, exciting stuff. Looks like we have a lot to look for in 2025. I really want to thank you for the session today. We are almost out of time. So thank you again. And we look forward to hearing more from you guys in other sessions.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Manish.
Manish. Thanks, Helena.
Thanks.
All right, welcome back. So we are now in our next session, which is about dashboards and analytics. Fascinating section, very important for service desk managers, leaders. They want to know what's going on, what are the critical numbers, because unless until you have the right information, you cannot take any decisions. So my first question is for Honey. Honey, business intelligence is such a buzzword, isn't it? What does it mean in context of ITSM for you, right? I know that different companies have tried different approaches here, but what do you think it means for ITSM, product like ours and for the leaders?
Thanks, Manish. Manish, business intelligence in Resolve empowers teams by making them empowered with a lot of analytics across the system. So right from the knowledge management to the ticketing, uh, to the administration, they find a lot of analytics that are available in the system. So for example, in knowledge, what was helpful, what was not helpful, what was asked but not answered well, and what was asked but was not available with the system. All of this information can be found by the knowledge administrators. They can improve upon the system over the time and ensure that the knowledge base is in a good shape. Similarly, whatever issues have been reported by the employees, how the agents have been performing on them, are they able to address those issues in time, as per various KPIs of theirs, that can be tracked by the team leads, by the management as well, uh, service teams as well. All of that can be seen in the system. Similarly, if they are able to satisfy the employees with their resolutions or not, the employee satisfaction indexes can be captured as well. Similarly, manual agent desk efficiencies are also trackable by the system. We can also see what were the areas where automations can be provided by the organization. So, over the time, they can be added to the system as well.
Great. And Honey, I'll be honest with you. I have seen, for most part, so many organizations who use dashboard and reporting. It's a very important function for them. But a lot of them are not happy with the products they have. and they seem to be taking the data and putting into Power BI or wherever to basically analyze the data. They don't seem to be depending on the product's reporting and capability. As a matter of fact, this is one of the major problems with the traditional ITSM systems that people have. So Udaya, what do you talk about functional scalability, right? And that's your product theme. What does product functional scalability means in this context?
Yeah, great question, Manish. Right, so in the previous session that we said, okay, fine, our product is functionally scalable to address to multiple business cases, right? So now dashboard and analytics have to be complementing it. If it doesn't complement, it will obviously be leading to a lot of work. So we are just saying that the scalability is also done here in dashboard analytics, right? So if we are configuring a new ticket type, new offer, or new things in the configuration, we need to see that the data is actually reflecting in the reports, in your charts, everything, and then you're tracking and measuring them also, right? Successfully, you have new SLAs, new queues, new metrics, everything. So how do I do that, right? So normally what happens in the traditional way is you go and design these reports, or you actually go to ETL routine and then extract it from there and do it, right? So it's and even if you do that, you're not satisfied. You have to take a dump, as you said, into a Power BI or an Excel sheet and do a pivot and all the stuff, right? So our design of dashboard analytics is to actually keeping this in mind. Now that any department, any service request form or anything will come there, any design will come there. So how we actually make it available in the dashboards module. So that's what we have actually kept in mind when we designed this. So the configuration that we have done in the ticketing are driving the data capture. So the events and actions that you have defined, the metrics and SLA that we have defined there, will actually drive the data capture in the first place. And then whatever data is captured, you want to actually be showing the way you want it, in the format, in the chart, in the grouping, in the dimensions that you wanted. That is something we have made now into configurable dashboards. So it's almost industry standard now, like Tableau and all those things that we how you can build your own charts and so on. So the same thing we have tried to provide here. So we can slice and dice and do all the stuff. And then we can also need to maintain the security mechanisms, right? Because if I'm not supposed to see a particular ticket because I'm not an agent on the particular ticket, nor I have some access to the ticket because I don't belong to the queue, then I'm not supposed to see it same thing in the dashboard also. So the same data security aspects are actually maintained here, right? So, and then the final thing is now I see all the stuff. Now know where I'm doing good, where I'm not doing good, where my team is doing not good. How do I take actions on top of it, right? So can I navigate from dashboard seamlessly into back to my ticketing? Yes, and that's how we have done it here, right? So this is what it is, and that's what how we provide the functional scaling that we have, right? So that's a summary in nutshell. Um, how do we do this, right? So if a new business uh, form is required, so how do we do this, right? So the ticketing is configured there from the ticketing side. Then you come to the dashboard and reports, and you have three ways to actually get what you want, right? So one, you can build a dashboard, and then you can actually see it in the console itself. Or you can actually build a dashboard and say, okay, hey, I want this to be emailed to me on a daily basis or a weekly basis and so on. So, and you can have some data tables also built, the fields of interest, the filters of interest for you, and configure that, and then also get that email to you, right? So to the audience, not only to you, to the audience that you desire, right? So and then the data level security, row level security is actually implemented there, so people will get to see what they get to see even for the reports that they get. Also, we have standard reports built. So this is how we have already made it available so that you can actually access all of them. And then if you want to build a new report completely, right? So I want actually something to be emailed to management once a week, every week or something. You can completely do that also here directly, right? So we don't need to go to another external reporting system to do it. So this is how easy to configure. So that's how we do it, Manish. So back to you.
Great. I mean, you hit on all the important points over there, and if people could, if people can get a Power BI kind of experience, right, without having to export their data and go to Power BI, and that is the level of experience they can get. That sounds phenomenal. Honey, can we have a look at the product and see how it looks and feels like in the time that we have?
Absolutely. So Manish, as you pointed, there are a lot of users who are power users who want to export the data and bring out the insights from them, and there are other set of users who want to just consume what is being served to them. We built the product for both, so there are a lot of dashboards that come out of the box with the product that can be utilized as is. So right now you can see on the screen is a team leaders dashboard, service team leaders dashboard. They're able to see what their service team members are doing, how they're performing. They're able to see all the charts, all the tickets that are open, urgent, etc. They are able to see the live chat, the open live chats, active live chats as well. So all the information is available here, and they can play around with that, or they can use that to the organization's advantage here. This one is in particular an agent's dashboard. They're able to see their own KPIs here. They're able to uh, you know as it is said that whatever you can track, you can actually improve on them. This is what is served right away to the agent on the dashboard, so that they can keep an eye on it and keep improving over the time over it. They can see the open tickets, etc. They can jump into any of these tickets from right here. Similar to the team lead, they can also see their own charts. Similarly, we have the knowledge dashboard, which can show you the status of the knowledge in the system. So the overall health of the knowledge, how is your knowledge performing? Whatever you've added to the system, how is it performing? You can see the charts here by hashtags, by helpfulness, etc. Then you can see the knowledge gaps, what is not accurate as per the users, or what was not available in the knowledge base as the user asked some queries, what has been helpful, what has not been helpful, what is the new knowledge that has been added by the team. All of that can be tracked here. What has been popular knowledge, what are the kind of questions that are being asked. You can track all of that from here. That was one bit. Now coming to the customizable bit. So for power users who want to build their own dashboards, this is something that is offered to them. They can create a dashboard for one ticket type or multiple ticket types. They can control the viewers or the editors of these dashboards, who can see this, who can edit this. All of that can be controlled. So here we have an incident dashboard where incident ticket types are being seen. Only 21 ticket types are in the system, so that's what is being seen here in the number chart. Similar to that, I have shortlisted the number chart with a filter here, which is kind of giving me only the assigned ticket. So I have added a filter here, which is status is assigned. So as per that, it is giving me only the assigned tickets. Then I have a pie chart here, which I've created for status, tracking the status of the tickets. As you see this here on x-axis, I'm tracking the status, and I'm showing the count here. So I can see how many are assigned, how many are submitted, etc. Here I have tickets by queue and priority. I'm using a stacked bar chart for it. So I can see the priorities on the y-axis and categories on the x-axis. Similar to that, I've used another stacked chart for checking the category and status of the tickets. I have a data chart here, data list chart here, which shows me all the tickets. I can see what kind of data I want to see. So, I can drag and drop these as well to maybe reorder these, or I can delete them to see only the limited information that I want to see. I can also subscribe to these charts. So, this allows me to export as a CSV, or subscribe to it as a CSV. So only the limited information I can get subscribed to as well. And I'll show you that in detail as well. Here I have a chart that shows the tickets by agents. So these are cross filters that I can apply on the ticket. So for example, I want to see only the other category tickets here. And further, as soon as I clicked on that, only the limited tickets for that category are being shown. Now I clicked on another one to see only that particular category of tickets. If I click on this, it can take me to the issues. So it can show me the issues in the inbox view that we saw earlier. And I can use subscription to subscribe to these as well. So for example, here I have two subscription. One sends me the dashboard, the entire dashboard in the morning, and the other one sends me the limited data list in the evening. So I have subscribed this as a CSV there. So both are available here, as you can see, and they are. I can set it how frequently using a cron or using a click function, I can define how frequently I want the subscription to be sent to me. I can set it as a CSV or as a PDF. I can define various other things and set the subscription. Who do I want to send this to, etc. And these dashboards are extremely customizable. I can configure the layout. I can drag and drop many of these widgets. I can change the themes. You may want to match the organization's logo to it, whatever theme you want to carry out. And I can download the entire report as a PDF or as a CSV as well from here. I'm trying to configure the layout here as well. So, all these widgets are drag and droppable. I can resize them as well. As soon as I save them, the dashboard is saved. And then we have reports as a section where there are some out of the box reports that we provide. So these really help in the agents to send the regular reports to their seniors or share it within the organization. Over to you, Manish.
That was for a data nerd like me. That's a gold mine. I really like it. It gives me a lot of power, immediately understanding of trends, what's going on, but also ability to make reporting to senior management, with ease, right, without having to jump through the hoops. This is fantastic. I really love it, and I do know that you guys are working on bringing many of the reporting functionality on Teams so that people can just ask the bot about certain things, and some reporting will be available there. So that's for future. But for now, thank you so much. We are going to wrap up this session. This was fascinating. Again, appreciate it.
Thanks, Manish.
Thank you, Manish.
Welcome back, everyone. So we are on a very exciting topic now, which is around GenAI in ITSM. And you might say, we have been looking at GenAI at ITSM for last, so many hours. So what are you talking about? This time I'm talking about specifically GenAI in ITSM for the agents, for the technicians, for the HR associates. What are the features that are built in for the admins, for the supervisors, and how is their life getting better directly? This is over and above the features which are built in for example, employees directly, right, like their sidekick experience, etc. Beyond that, so we are talking about that. So with me, my panelists are Josh Correro, who is our solution architect. Welcome back, Josh. And Honey, director of product management. Welcome back, both of you.
Hello.
All right. So let's look at deep dive into this session. So let's first of all, Honey, my first question is to you. We keep talking about MTTR as important metrics, forever, right? This industry has been talking about MTTR forever. So tell us how the GenAI, especially the agent assist features, are going to help with the MTTR.
Thanks, Manish. MTTR, or mean time to resolution, is a critical measure in ITSM efficiency. With GenAI, we can dramatically reduce MTTR, and we can actually enable the agents to do better at their KPIs. Uh, we intelligently automate ticketing categorization and prioritization to ensure whatever tickets are reaching the agents, they are correctly categorized, correctly prioritized, so that they can get to them in an orderly manner. From there, we provide them with a lot of tools to summarize the tickets, to enable them to format their responses better through GenAI and other LLMs. We provide instant recommendations for resolutions based on past data, so that enables the agents to uh, you know instantly get to the root of the problems. We also identify the patterns of the recurring issues to predict, and in some cases even prevent such issues proactively.
Interesting. So you're attacking the problem from all sides, really.
That is correct.
That's very interesting. Now, let's talk about from a ticket maturity, ticket seriousness perspective, right? So there are L1 tickets, there are L2 tickets, there are L3 tickets, right? Like depending on the seriousness of the ticket and the nature of the ticket. Is there a different level of effectiveness that we have with respect to these three?
Absolutely, Manish. So in general, in ITSM systems, we get we categorize the incoming tickets into 3 categories: the L1 tickets, the L2 tickets, and the L3 tickets. L1 tickets are generally the ones which require very less of expertise, and most of the times they can be answered by knowledge itself. So this doesn't require a lot of training for the agents, and if trained well, the bots also can take this over. At Resolve, we are aiming at reducing the 90% of these tickets traffic before going into the ITSM system. So we are planning to we are trying to deflect 90% of these tickets. Then there are L2 tickets, which are a little more complex. They may need some kind of expertise, some kind of talking to different systems, third-party systems. At Resolve, we are building a lot of automation capabilities that can resolve these tickets, using those automations, calling those APIs if they're available. Then we have the L3 tickets, which are much more complex. Sometimes they require approvals as well. Sometimes they require vendor interventions as well. So these are a little difficult to resolve by the system. But for these tickets, we bring up a lot of information for the agents from the past data. We also bring up a lot of GenAI features for the agents to quickly resolve these tickets, and that's how we are approaching the L3 tickets as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. As a matter of fact, L3 tickets, one of the things that I observed is that sometimes they are, because these core application knowledge is required, and sometimes the core application knowledge is not within the organization. And we know that certain tickets are going to get escalated to vendors. So what happens is our system can actually escalate the tickets directly to vendor after making an assessment that cannot be done internally. That is a big service too, right? I mean, you don't have to engage internal people if there's no why have the additional cycle internally when the problem is not going to get solved internally, it's going to get external. So those kind of things also can help. This is great. So Josh, let me ask you this. Let's talk about Aura Insights, right? Aura Insights is a very interesting module, and it's a relatively new module. It's still getting built out more. Tell us a little bit about this module and how it is going to help supervisors, improve their day-to-day lives.
Sure thing. So Aura Insights is our AI-powered analytics tool that implements all of that stuff that Honey and Manish were talking about, such as summarization, intelligent escalation, all of that. It scans all of your tickets and extracts any relevant information while ranking and scoring them so that you have what you need. We think that when you look at a list of tickets, you should be able to see the most important tickets first. But how do you know which tickets are the most important? These days, a lot of companies rely on SLAs, but SLAs are only part of the story. They lack context. They can't tell you if a user is frustrated or if an agent is struggling. As someone that used to work at a service desk, I can tell you that most agents have had that experience where they open up a ticket that's still within SLA, they give it a read, and they think, oof, that's going to be an escalation. And that kind of analysis requires a comprehensive understanding of that particular ticket, as well as a deep understanding of your other tickets and processes to be able to put that into context. And that's really what Aura Insights brings to the table. It scans your tickets, intelligently ranks them by priority using a bunch of different factors such as user sentiment, agent communication, and your SLA data, and then gets you the information that you need to take the next step. The goal here is to give the teams the foresight to act before a problem becomes an escalation. So let's jump into it, and let me show you what it looks like. So before we start, I just want to say that for the purposes of this demo, we're logged in as an MSP user. So the agent here manages tickets for various different companies, and the UI has been tweaked to reflect that. Okay, with that said, let's go ahead and start the demo. So this is our Aura Insights menu. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. And then from here, you can view My Tickets, you can view Trouble Tickets, or you can view All Tickets. Let's take a look at Trouble Tickets. So coming up here, this is a list of all of the tickets that Aura Insights thinks need some extra attention. The red tickets here are in danger of escalation, while the yellow tickets aren't quite there yet, but still need some love. You can see we have the ticket numbers and subjects here at the top, along with the name of the end user and the client that they belong to. From here, I can sort the list by client, or I can sort by assigned agents. And don't worry, these dropdowns support type ahead search. So if the list starts to get long, I can just start typing to refine my search. Let's go and select this client, and then we can sort and view all of the tickets that we have under this particular client that need some extra attention. Let's go ahead and open one of these up. Now, at the top of the ticket, we again see our ticket number, the company name, and then below that we have the subject. Below that, we have some basic ticket information and contact details, and we can also see the agent that's assigned to this ticket. But here's where it gets interesting. So instead of a description, we have an AI overview, which gives us a complete up-to-date summary of what this ticket is about and what work has been completed up to this point. As we can see, several troubleshooting steps have already been attempted, but the issue has not yet been resolved. Below that, we have the results of our analysis. So if we click AI Insights, we can see the sentiment analysis. And at the top, we can see that analysis as well as a complete explanation for that selection. We can see that the user was frustrated and that response times were slow. So now that we're caught up on this ticket, what are we going to do about it? That's where the action plan comes in. So this tab shows me a suggested plan of the next steps so that we have a place to start. We can see that it's recommending a comprehensive network and hardware check with a focus on remote connectivity issues, as well as a follow-up plan for continuous monitoring. If we move over to the communications tab, we can see a recommended follow-up message, and I can scroll through that to make any modifications that I might want to make. And then if I'm satisfied, I can go ahead and click submit note, and it'll just go ahead and add that note to our ticket and notify the end user. Finally, if I click analysis, I can see some of the other factors that were measured here and the severity levels that Aura Insights assigned to them. And that's Aura Insights in a nutshell.
Wow, Josh, this is so impressive. Just imagine all these tools being at the available to service desk managers and supervisors. They could immediately pinpoint where the problem is, what the next step is, what do they need to do, where do they need to focus. This is outstanding, really. I want to talk a little bit about the technology behind it. So if we can get that slide up. So the way it works is it has scoring. So literally, I mean, if I can explain it plain English, AI is reading all the tickets and is deciding the scoring the tickets and so on and so forth, summarizing the tickets, scoring the tickets, and then taking the action out. So there's a whole lot of algol that we have written to make this happen. It's not easy, but and there are different kind of agents. There's a sentiment agent, there's a scoring agent, there's a bunch of things happening in the backend to actually give this kind of output to you. And what you saw in Teams, that is also going to be available in the backend console pretty soon. So I just want to let you know. So, Honey, let's talk about other GenAI features with all the magic output that you talked about they're going to create. Let's learn a little bit about what are the other key GenAI features for technicians and agents and what's going on over there.
Absolutely. Let's see them. So Manish, here I have, I'm in the ticketing inbox and I have a ticket here. This says that, their email servers, they're not able to receive emails. There is a small description here as well. So as an agent, the first responsibility for me is to reply to them, whatever the status update is. So I'm going to write something very briefly here that, the email server is going through some upgrade and it may be taking some time. Maybe let's say it would be up and running by 5 p.m. PST. And as soon as I'm done here, I would go ahead and click this small button here called autocomplete. And as I click that, it'll fetch a response for me. It'll use GenAI to build a very professional response using all the intent that I just shared there. And I just have to click a button to add that note. So just imagine how much time this would save for an agent to write those responses. Another interesting feature here is a smart summary here. So just imagine how much time agents lose between context switching between various tickets. So if I'm coming back to a ticket, instead of going through the detailed notes and everything, what happened in the ticket, I can quickly just run through with the summary of the ticket. So it uses GenAI to summarize the entire ticket for me. uh, I can also read it from the outside window itself. So from the inbox view itself, I can just click on it and see that. This one is about knowledge articles, where we are using GenAI to write articles for the agent as well. So just imagine there is an agent who figured out something to be written here. Let's say they want to write return to office policy. Now there were employees who were off for post COVID. They were not working from office. We want them back to office now. Now I just wrote a brief what I my intent is with this article, and I clicked autocomplete, and a very professional article is written out of it. Whatever intent I shared there.
Wonderful. That indeed, I mean, knowledge creation is always a pain, right? Writing well crafted answers, notes is a pain for technicians, right? We are not necessarily the best. Technology people are not necessarily best in communication. So those kind of things will come in very handy, and they're great features. Summarization of tickets is very important, right? Those kind of features. But beyond this, given that we are a Gen AI company, I'm sure there are a lot of exciting features right around the horizon. So can we talk a little bit about that, Josh? You want to talk about what is coming next, and then maybe Honey after that?
So we're thinking a lot about trend analysis. We see a lot of potential for Gen AI here to recognize trends in your ticketing data in real time. For example, let's say you suddenly get a huge influx of tickets coming in over the course of 30 minutes. We can notify you and give you all the information that you need to start tackling that issue as soon as possible. This is in the final stages right now, so more to come here in the future.
Amazing. Honey, what
Right.
about you? What do you think?
Right. I guess I would build on top of that itself. Yeah, trend analysis is really something that we are looking at. Um, you know, Identifying those trends, identifying the problem areas that need attention, and depending on the configuration, either reporting those as a problem ticket, or at least informing the right stakeholders that there can be something going wrong here. So that is really an interesting bit that we are working towards.
Yeah, I mean, taking this trend and creating a ticket out of it. By the way, for these trends, the input can come not only from human tickets which are being created, but also from machines, right? If machines are, saying, hey, this server is down and that server is down, or this network problem is there, we can expand over a period of time to take all those inputs and create beautiful insights for the service desk leaders, and basically that goes into AI ops area, and I think that's an area that increasingly will start go towards in 2025. Well, fantastic. This was very insightful session, like I said, and I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Manish.
Welcome back to this very interesting session that we are having on meet employees where they are. What does that even mean? Let's find out more about it with Josh Correro. Welcome, Josh. He's a solution architect. And along with him, we have Taylor. Taylor is our customer success manager. Welcome, both of you. Taylor Hughes, how are you doing?
Hello.
We're good.
All right, let's get started. So, Taylor, my first question is for you. Why are Teams and Slack super important for the ITSM systems these days? Because, as I'm old, I know the days when Teams and Slack had nothing to do with ITSM systems, but nowadays they do. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, great question there. But in today's, fast-paced hybrid work environment, these collaboration platforms like Teams and Slack really have become central to how we communicate and how we operate. There are over 300 million active users within these platforms, and they kind of serve as that digital workspace for our employees, where conversations happen, tasks, problem solving is all happening at real time. and integrating an ITSM system into Teams ensures IT support is readily available, kind of exactly where all of our employees are spending their time. And this really eliminates the friction between switching tools, making IT support moves really seamless and efficient. Employees request services, even resolve problems directly within these platforms, enhancing productivity and reducing downtime. Even more so, Teams and Slack enable IT teams to collaborate quickly, share ideas and updates, resolve incidences faster, which aligns perfectly with modern ITSM goals of speed and agility.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense. And as I say it, it's ITSM service delivery or some kind has become a lot like real estate. They call in real estate, they have a famous saying, location, location, location. That's all it
Right.
matters. And I think it does matter in service delivery. Location does matter. That means you got to go meet your customers, internal customers, employees, where they are. Don't ask them to come somewhere else. Go where they are, right? So
Right.
that's very important. So Taylor, how are we doing in Resolve.ai doing in Teams and Slack? Talk to us a little bit about that.
So yeah, Resolve integrates deeply with both Microsoft and Teams, or Microsoft Teams and Slack to deliver a fully embedded support experience. We bring the help desk right to where the employees are working, where they're chatting with colleagues, attending meetings, and collaborating with tasks. There's a philosophy like portals are dead. Gone are the days when employees need to hunt for the right portal, guess the right category or subcategory, or even figure out the IT jargon. Instead, we meet employees where they are today in Teams and Slack. Employees simply interact with a familiar bot name right in their team's environment. They don't need to know the correct ticket type or hierarchy. They just describe the issue in plain language, and Resolve's AI will pretty much take care of the rest for us. This streamlined user first approach ensures employees get the help they need quickly and intuitively without disrupting any workflows. It's a truly modern support experience designed for the way we work today.
That was very slick interface. I really liked it. And Josh, I saw a menu there. Help our audience understand why is there a menu? What does it mean? Walk us through that, please, if you don't mind.
So the menu is mostly just there for guidance. We found that one of the most critical components to user engagement is simply just education. Users need to know what the bot is able to do before they start using it. Think of it like a menu from a restaurant. The first couple of times you visit, you might skim the menu so that you know what the options are. But once you've been there a few times, you might not even look at the menu. You just say, I want a cheeseburger, and then you get your cheeseburger, right? Same concept here. By default, our out-of-box menu options include ask a question, open a new ticket, check ticket status, and my skills menu. The skills menu basically just provides a list of common automations for users to pick from, such as onboarding a new employee or requesting new software. All of this is both configurable and entirely optional. We have some clients that choose to skip the skills menu entirely and then just put their most common automations on the main menu. That's totally fine too. The important thing to remember is that the bot isn't limited to these menu buttons. Users don't have to navigate through menus. They can just tell the bot what they want using natural language, and then the agentic bot will figure out their intent and perform the appropriate action. For example, you could ask something as simple as, whatever happened to my ticket? Or can I talk to a person? And the bot's going to understand.
Fantastic. So menu is there, but really you can type whatever you want, and our AI really understands. It doesn't has to be programmed to understand certain thing, specific thing. It really gets it what you're trying to say, and then will navigate you through whatever the process might be, providing you answers, creating a ticket, what have you, whatever the solution might be, it will take you through that. So that's great.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. So, what are the other benefits of using Teams and Slack, right? Like, I get this. You can have these interactions. You have beautiful looking interface. This is the location where people are. Is there any other things that can be leveraged in this channel?
Sure. So, one of the most useful features is the ability to send push notifications to users, which allows us to proactively reach out to employees in a space that they're already paying attention to. There's so much potential for a feature like this. A great example is approvals. We can actually manage an entire approval process directly in Teams.
Do we have a visual that we can see for that?
Yeah. Here, let me pull that up. So, if a user submits a request that needs approvals, we can send a notification to the user's manager requesting that approval. And once a decision is made, we can then send the end user a notification with the approval decision and next steps. We can even use the manager's approval decision to kick off an automation if needed. Another example is ticket updates. So if an agent adds a new note to a user's ticket, we can actually just send the user a notification containing the note and give the user an option to just reply to that note right then and there. Any update they add will then just trigger an API call to add that note directly to the ticket and notify the agent assigned. And then from there, we're just facilitating a back and forth conversation directly in the bot.
I gotta say, that is so cool. Having a back and forth on the ticket via Teams. I think you're right when Taylor said earlier, portals are dead, right? What are you going to use portal for? You're on Teams or Slack interface. You can pretty much do everything there. But I have a question for you, Taylor. You can do pretty much everything, but can you, for example, reach out to a human if you, let's say, due to whatever reason, this is urgent, or I don't know, I can think of too many reasons why you'll want to go to human. But let's say you tried something, it didn't work out, and now you indeed want to go to human, right? You want a real person to connect to. Is that possible?
Yeah, great. So, yeah, when that human help is needed, Resolve Support Agent will certainly handle a majority of these issues, autonomously. And we do understand that times, human assistance is necessary for some of these issues. And when that happens, Resolve really makes it easy to get the help you need. You can seamlessly escalate issues in a few ways. One is to make a call directly in Teams. You can live chat with an IT professional directly in Teams, create a ticket that is automatically routed to the correct team, complete with, relevant context provided by the AI as well. And the best part about all this is, all the functionality is readily available on the mobile too. So if you're using the Teams app or if you're using Resolve's app, you'll have access to the same level of support there. And that said, most users rarely need to escalate to a human, but as our AI kind of resolves a majority of issues quickly and effectively, but when human help is required, that process is seamless and accessible as well.
All right, fantastic. Thanks for showing that, Taylor. And I'll tell you one thing. One of the most interesting things that people react to is when the ability of people to make phone calls from Teams, right? You can actually initiate a phone call from Teams, which will land up on the other side in your service desk or a specific number. People are surprised, right? Although this feature has been there for a while, people are surprised you can do that. So that's pretty impressive. All right. So Josh, to as a part of finishing this conversation, tell us what is there in the future. If you look at the roadmap and possibilities, what do you see?
Yeah, so we see a lot of potential in this idea of a centralized support hub. As time goes on, you're not going to have to worry about signing into all your different accounts for work to access different systems. You don't need to worry about what website you have to go to access what, or what your login credentials are for this system or that system. It's just going to be Teams and Slack, right? They're going to be your home base of operations for everything that you do at work, and you're going to talk to the agentic bot, and it'll take care of everything for you. Portals are on their last leg. It might sound dramatic, but we really think there's no future in that. They're going to go away. The other thing you can expect is new ways to interface with the bot. So there have been a ton of recent advancements in voice recently, so you can expect to see that start to come into play in a quarter or two. We're pretty excited for it.
Perfect. That sounds like a flying car to me. Uh, which I think there are now, right? There are flying cars out there. So this is not like pie in the sky, but it's real flying car project. I love it. Thank you so much, Taylor and Josh. This was fun. Appreciate your time.
Glad to be here.
Welcome back to the ITSM track. We have the second session now, Zero Touch Ticket Integration. What does it even mean? So I have my colleagues Udaya and Hani to take us through this mysterious topic, and we'll learn a little bit more. Um, so Udaya, my first question to you: what are we talking about? Zero touch ticket integration. If you have created a product feature, it's fair to assume that you're trying to address some kind of gap that the traditional products don't offer today. So tell us a little bit about this, right? What is this gap that we're talking about?
Sure, Manish. In the last few months, right, there is a lot of AI driven bots that are coming in, which will actually talk to the backend ITSM systems, because many of the companies are still invested into their existing ITSM systems. They don't want to rip and replace completely with AI driven products. So to make this happen, what this AI bots products actually do is they have to talk to the backend systems and get the forms and then display them accordingly, right? So that integration is actually a project by itself. And this is what we are talking about as a integration thing. And then what we are trying to do is how to eliminate this complete integration as a project, as a service or an effort, and then make it a zero touch, right? So how do we make it do it? So that's the concept here that we are talking about.
Udaya, that's a fascinating and bold concept. How is Resolve.ai achieving this? You're claiming that no touch, the bot knowing what the service catalog and the ticketing knows. It's fascinating. How are you achieving that?
Okay, so before I go into how Resolve is doing it, right? So I'm telling you the pain that's actually happening, right? So when you actually do an integration, so first we need to the bot itself is not completely AI driven. It is actually having some structured and some unstructured work, right? So unstructured work is conversational in nature, and structured work comes in when you need to present multiple fields together in a form, so that it'll be easy for the user to pick rather than type everything, right? So you can actually pick in a drop-down box and so on. So we have the cards kind of a display will be easy from the bot point of view. So for that, we need to do a structured design. And the structured design is basically requires you to do almost like a mini project planning, right? It's project plan, design, how do you actually, what kind of cards you need to have, and then do a development, testing, and so on. So the blah, 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 all these things go on. So this actually takes almost multiple weeks to go through if you have, especially when you have huge number of service forms in your stick system. And then you need to always be in sync, right? So see the pain here, right? All this have to be built and all this have to be in sync all the time. So it's basically a moving car on the back end. So because the service forms also keep changing as your process keep changing. And then you need to see that your bot front end is actually always in sync with this. So that's the pain that we have here. So I want to take a moment to actually describe what the pain is. And this is what we are trying to solve here. And so what we have done here is, and in Resolve is that whenever something gets changed in the ticketing system, right? So the bot front end listens to those events, and then automatically decides, right? So which particular fields of the ticketing form should go to which card, or how many cards should be even displayed, and then what sequence they need to be displayed. So all this intelligence is built in the way we build the flow. So we don't need to even handcraft any of the flow, any of the bot structured content going forward, right? All the structured content automatically gets adjusted based on the adjustments that you're making in the backend. And in case you feel that no, I don't want myself to be synced always with the thing, I will still manage my own stuff myself. You can completely delink your front end with the back end and then maintain your own stuff, because you may probably want to create some native beautiful cards which are not done by anyway. Our Resolve actually creates beautiful adaptive cards that we use, but in case you still want to do something else, you can still go ahead and do that. So this is basically the thing that's out there. The intelligence here is that how we actually reconstruct the form that we have for the back end, which is your ITSM system, to multiple cards in the front end, so grouping them and sequencing them. So that's the intelligence that we have built in. So this is the complexity that's involved. So how do we do this, right? So if you go to the details here, so next level of details. So the form is built. The form has multiple settings, presets, like offer. We call them as offers. The presets are basically what defaults to give for which conditions and so on. And then we link them to the bot through the triggers, right? So based on what the user is having, what kind of conversation is having, we identify which ticket type it is for, and then which particular preset it is for. And then based on that, it'll actually trigger the trigger. So this trigger management is one such aspect. Second aspect is linking a specific flow that is actually already out there to a particular trigger, so that once we, because he may have override it or he may still keep the auto published ones. And then we link the form fields. For example, the form fields are actually can be already provided in the conversation the user is having in the bot, right? So how do I extract that information from the conversation and do it? So that linking is always there. And then sometimes we want to actually bot add some its own intelligence to the entire context here, and then provide that intelligence to the ticket form so that the agent can pick up from there, right? So bot can actually categorize. I'm talking about intelligent categorization or even escalations and all the stuff. Right? So all these things is done by the bot. So bot adds its own value add by actually adding some more information on top of what the user is providing. So this is how we have done it. And I would recommend that this automated integration is something that people will find it very easy to use. So I would want to show some product now. So Honey, can you take a minute or two to actually show it how it works?
Yes, so I'll take 3. So I'm starting with a ticket type, which is an equipment movement service that I've created in my ITSM system, Resolve ITSM system. I have already created the fields, the layouts, the workflow that is required for it. It's a simple ticket, simple workflow that I've created here. Now I'm going to enable this for bot channel as well. So I'd go to bot integrations tab. I'd select the equipment movement service. I'd add some triggers to it so that the bot can recognize when to raise this ticket type creation. I'd add some context for it for the bot to understand. I'd add some trigger keywords for it to take as well. Keywords are going to right away trigger the ticket type if they are entered as is in the conversation, if they are identified as is in the conversation. And context is more like a vector thing that would be identified by the bot. If the user is conversationally talking something around this, the bot would understand and then trigger this ticket type creation from there. So let me add a few trigger keywords to it. I need to move my printer. I need help in relocating my printer moving service, etc. I want to move a printer maybe, and let me just publish this. Now, once that is done, I'd also go to the bot identification fields to be able to add some information here so that the bot can understand or bot can conversationally fetch some information from the user. So this is the way the bot would understand what is this particular field is about so that it can conversationally ask for that information from the user. So for example, here for a drop-down field, I'm detailing that, between urgent and ordinary, this needs to be chosen depending on the urgency of movement. So once the bot understands that, it will be able to fetch that information better. Once that is created, I'm also going to use this in the bot. It's right away ready to use it in the bot. So I mentioned that I need help in relocating my printer. It conversationally asked for the information that was required for it to create the ticket, the moving date, the current pickup location, the destination location, etc. It just asked me. I'm again vaguely and conversationally giving it that information, and not all of it. Some of it I'm providing it. Whatever I missed, it asked me again. I gave that information, and it presented an adaptive card, very good looking adaptive card. It presented that information back to me for me to confirm that. As soon as I confirmed that, before raising the ticket, it finally presented to me all the information that it captured and ensured that I'm submitting the ticket myself. So as soon as I submitted the ticket, it gave me a ticket number. It asked if I need to add an attachment. Not really, I don't want that. So the ticket type is created, the number is given to me, the ticket number is given to me. That's how that worked. Also now I can see that the ticket is created in the for the agent to look at as well. So in the agent interface as well, I can find that ticket here.
All right, that sounds so interesting. The closest analogy I have is Matrix, the movie, where you are thinking of things and things just happen. That's exactly what it is. You're thinking of a new service that you want to offer to your employees, and voila, your bot will know how to handle that. Right? It's downloading everything right away in real time and able to handle that service type. This is fascinating. I think it's a first in the industry. I really love it. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for this session. I really appreciate it, and let's go to the next one.
Thanks, Manish.
Welcome everyone to the another exciting session. We are in ITSM track, and we are going to talk about ROI. We are going to talk about money. Everyone says follow the money in all the interesting movies out there. So we are also going to follow the money a little bit and figure out how do you build business cases. What is the business case? What is the ROI? Because nobody is interested in investing in anything unless until there's a clear ROI in the picture. On this topic today, I have with me Chris Martin, senior sales executive from our company, Rezolve.ai. Chris, you're no, but there's nobody better than you to discuss this. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Manish. I appreciate that.
So let's go right into it. So ROI is important, and what is the case for for the ROI for using a product like Resolve.ai? How do you find that ROI? Is there measurable metrics that we can talk about? And what is a problem that we are trying to solve for? I mean, where is this ROI getting generated from? So let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So today in traditional service desk environments, we see around 80% of tickets coming into either email or a phone call, and really only about 20% coming through a self-service portal. So ticketing coming in this way can put a strain on agents and can make a huge impact on the efficiency of the service desk. These teams traditionally see challenges in both manual and repetitive tasks and struggle with outdated or inaccessible knowledge base. So at Rezolve.ai, we focus on outcomes that make a real difference. So our customers typically see the biggest impact on tier one support. These tend to be manual and repeatable tasks, such as providing answers to simple questions, password resets, access control, and more. So when implementing something like Rezolve.ai, the three biggest improvements we see are around a 25 to 35% ticket deflection. Yep. Within the first 3 months. So this happens simply by making knowledge and troubleshooting more accessible. In addition to that, we also see reduced SLA times. So with tickets being reduced, we see that improvements in response time and mean time to resolution are standard across the board. And finally, CSAT and improvements in SLAs and resolving issues faster, making for happier employees.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really both employee side of the experience side of the story as well as the ticket deflection side of the story, and you're right. The L1 tasks, especially, right? They're manual, they're repetitive. Those are the one which are like the simplest kind of task, right? I mean, we have been talking about it. The industry has been talking about it for last 10 years or so. That how are we going to shift left and all those kind of words that we have used, but this time it really feels like this is possible. Tell me a little bit about, I know we are talking about the ITSM track and we are talking about IT, but will this same thing apply in HR as well?
Oh, that's a great question. So in HR, the shift is transformative, right? So before using Resolve.ai, HR teams spend maybe around 70% of their time on transactional tasks. So after implementation, we can actually flip that ratio, enabling HR teams to dedicate 70% of their time to strategic initiatives like addressing sensitive issues or creating impactful policies. We're having an AI handle policy or benefit questions, providing PTO information, or helping an employee request for time off or finding a W-2 can really shift the entire triangle as you're seeing here on the screen.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense to me. In terms of, I think this is aspirationally the right thing.
Yeah.
Nobody will disagree with you. This looks great. Do you have any real life examples of where things like this were achieved and where we have made a move the dial significantly?
Absolutely. So, two stories actually come to mind. So, we worked with a state university in New York. They implemented our platform for student and faculty support that
Mhm.
struggled with the volume of tickets they were receiving while
Mhm.
balancing the high expectation for support with limited financial resources.
Mhm.
So, within months, they achieved a 35% reduction in escalated tickets, a 58% decrease in response times, and a 47% improvement in efficiency of the IT department. So
Wow.
I think this really showcases how AI driven support and automation can enhance the overall service experience in the academic environments.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Now, as far as the other case, we also worked with a restaurant group.
Mhm.
Now, their IT support faced challenges with high volumes of support calls during and after business hours
Mhm.
with no self service option. So,
Mhm.
by integrating Resolve.ai through Microsoft Teams, they achieved a drastic reduction in after hour calls from 90% to just 10%, a
Wow.
50% decrease in after hour calls, and a promotion to self help, encouraging a culture of self help, reducing operation inefficiencies. So, in addition to this, they leverage our desktop automation to handle repetitive tasks like resetting their point of sale systems, fixing online ordering, to even adjusting the happy hour with a push of a button. Now, this freed their IT teams to focus on more complex issues, ensuring better operational efficiency. So, both of these cases illustrate the tangible ROI we can consistently deliver. Now,
Mhm.
the truth is, a majority of our customers see these improvements with generative AI, and within the release of agentic AI, we expect that these improvements will greatly increase.
Yeah.
So, agentic AI refers to AI systems that can act independently, make decisions, and perform tasks without constant human control. So, think of it like a digital assistant that doesn't just follow instructions, but also figures out the best way to solve a problem based on the goals it has been given. So, agentic AI is an AI system with the following four characteristics: so, autonomous, outcome oriented, continuously learning and adapting, and collaborating.
So no, absolutely. I think as we progress in that space, the ROI is only going to get better, not
Of
worse,
course.
right? That's for sure. So these two use cases seems very interesting. By the way, there are webinars from these two clients and also case studies on the website, so people can look it up. But tell me about this. Let's say if I'm someone who wants to do it and they say, yeah, sure, these two customers got it. What are the chances that I can get something similar? So talk to us. How do people know that they can get something similar?
Yeah, that's a great question, Manish. So, the reality is that most service desks, regardless of the industry, face similar challenges, right? So, that's your high ticket
Mhm.
volumes, repetitive issues like
Mhm.
password resets, application access, onboarding and offboarding
Mhm.
processes. So, these tasks are ideal for automation. And our data confirms that patterns are consistent across organizations. So, for example, with level one tasks, 72% of effort can typically be automated. This means that our proven success with clients like the university and the restaurant group can translate seamlessly into similar results for other organizations.
So you're right in saying that. Listen, most organizations are not that different, right? I mean, I know that many organizations like to say we are very unique, but the truth is there's some portion there which is consistent and same across the customer base. So if one can benefit from this technology, there's a very good chance that you can benefit too. Um, you know, let's assume that I'm an organization which is interested in this. I'm an enterprise that's interested in it. I'm impressed by the numbers, one third ticket reduction. That sounds fantastic. Better employee experience. I love it. Tell me, how do I, right? But let's say if I have to build a business case, right? Exact and precise business case. I'm not talking about high level. How do I build a precise business case and go to my CIO or CEO and say, listen, I need to put in these dollars because I'm going to get this kind of result? Because they might come and ask me very detailed question, right? They might
That's
say,
right. Mhm.
tell me what are you going to automate, right? Like you're talking about me automation in general, but tell me what are you going to automate? Tell me, convince to me that these numbers will work. How does one go about actually getting this kind of output? How can they create a business case like this?
That's a great question. And building a business case is arguably one of the most important things that you need in order to move forward with a project like this, right? So we've actually made it incredibly easy to build a compelling business case through our Desk IQ. Previously, we were calling it our QVA or our a value assessment. So Desk IQ is Rezolve.ai's proprietary GenAI powered ticket analyzer of your service desk data, designed to uncover inefficiencies, identify automation opportunities, and provide actionable insights to enhance your IT service delivery. Now, what you're seeing on the screen are some examples of the output. So when you feed our analyzer 3 to 6 months worth of data, it analyzes each individual ticket across 10 automation and knowledge potential components. Tickets are categorized into 15 high-level categories, as well as subcategories generated with AI, and automation opportunities are outlined by both knowledge automation potential, or the opportunity to deflect tickets based on knowledge, and task automation, or the opportunity for system-based automation that leverages workflows and processes by integrating with an API.
Yeah.
So now, on the basis of the analysis, you can create a business case and plan to take to your leadership that will make you look very smart. Provide actionable insights based on real ticket data and specific ticket examples provided in the analysis.
Yeah,
Now,
and if I may interrupt real
of course.
quick. So this is the knowledge automation, I think, what we're looking at.
Mhm.
So it looks like what it is saying is that, listen, these are the different categories. And by the way, the categories were created by GenAI.
That's right.
GenAI actually read all these tickets, isn't it right? It went and, because manually we cannot read 10,000 tickets or 3,000 tickets. It's just not possible. Generative AI went and read the tickets. It is now kind of, making some assessment, and that this assessment that we're saying. So looks like, for example, here, it says user access request, right? Looks like 52% of these user access requests, the assessment of this product is that we think this can be solved if you provide a knowledge, right?
That's right.
Or user access issues, and so on and so forth. So these are different category, and it's saying this is the potential for solving using knowledge. Similarly, if you go to the next slide, please. This seems like task automation, isn't it? Like the same thing, right? Like, you're opening retail operations management, 24% of these tickets can go away, right? And so on and so forth. So this is very interesting to me, and looks like very actionable, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very powerful, and the ability with generative AI to put this information together and then give you specific examples on the actual tickets that you're providing. You can go to your business leaders and really show them a compelling case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Desk IQ is traditionally $25,000 for customers, but here's the best part. In December, we're offering this Desk IQ Analyzer free of charge for qualifying customers that apply for it. So it's the perfect starting point for organizations to see their potential ROI before committing to the platform.
Yeah, that's amazing. If you can know what the return is going to be before you actually make the investment, that's the
Exactly.
best case scenario. So yeah, we'll put the link here, and folks who are interested and serious about the return investment, they're serious about 2025 automation, please reach out, and if you qualify, then we'll give you this assessment for free, which is actually expensive to do. All right. So how do we? What's the takeaway? I know we are coming towards the end of our session. What is the takeaway, Chris? If you were to think about the takeaway for someone who has joined this session?
Yeah, so I would say that Resolve.ai's virtual support agent isn't just about ticket deflection and automating processes. It's about creating a better experience for employees, customers, and support teams while delivering measurable business value. So I think that really is the main takeaway. And I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to share this with you today. And I'm happy to answer any questions or follow-up questions after the webinar. So back to you, Manish.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. Thanks everyone for joining. And this was a great session.